Hey, New Hope. One of the things I have noticed over the years is that there's a certain time in people's faith when they are no longer satisfied to just have things external, just the activities they do on the outside. There is this sense, and I think it's part of just growing up as well, that you want to make things more real on the inside. You want to make things more grounded to be part of who you are. But we always come up against a couple of different problems, and one is I don't have time, or two, I don't know enough how to do that, or three, I have tried it and it just never seems to work, and so I want to give up. And yet there's something in me that wants to do something that matters, that matters to my soul. So I've been working on that over the years, and I've come up with a couple different configurations. With the pandemic, putting some of these things on video, reworking them, and it's part of what I call the habits of hope. That there's 5 basic habits that if you give yourself to, they will help do the kinds of things we want to have happen. They will make this faith real. It'll be part of who you are. And it's based on a couple things. One is we just know that there are practices that will help you deepen your faith and connect with God in new ways. We know this, that it will change your life because it's just part of our faith tradition. It's been going on for thousands of years, but also just what we know about brain science. And it's this: if you want to make a change in your life, it's not enough just to know stuff. It's not just to really want to do things. Those have their place. But the real catalyst for change is that you change your habits. If you want to make a change in your life, change your habits. And if you really want to make an impact, change something that you do every day. So what I want to do is I want to focus on the everyday habit. And what I want to work on today is daily grace. An acronym for grace, GRACE. We ground, we rejoice, we become aware, we consent, and then this funny word, examine. If you've seen my other videos, you know that I focused already on some of the mechanics of the first two, the G and the R. That's the morning routines, and then the E, the examine. So I won't go as much into detail there, and you're welcome to go check those out. But I'm going to try and put all of that together so it's all in one place. And I may go a little quick, but you can run this back a couple times if you want to get a real sense of it. And then as we do, I want to just ask you this question. Do you use a journal? Because I have found that people who use journals in one form or another, this helps. It helps create a habit, and that's what we're trying to do. Now, it could be a written journal, and the one I'm using right now, it looks like this. This is my journal. I find it very helpful to have a place every day to go to do these things, and that helps. Now, some people do it on their computer or their phone. There's other ways to do that. But I would commend that you give that a try, because that has a way of grounding this and having a place where you go to work on these things. All right, first thing, G and the R. We want to ground and we want to rejoice. And as you know, I like to use this verse. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice. Let us be glad in it. And in that are 3 questions. So those 2 letters have 3 questions, 1 verse. First, what's unique about this day? What is it that makes this day this day? What are the appointments? Who are the people I'm anticipating? What are the things I'm looking forward to? What are the obstacles? What are the things that are unique about this day when I wake up? And then the second thing is rejoice. So we like to begin with gratitude. What are the things that I'm grateful for right now? And you can do this throughout the day, and it's good, but it's also very helpful, at least for me, to start my day that way. What are the things that I am grateful for this day? Sometimes very basic, sometimes more expansive, kind of depends, but it's a good habit to begin to open up my mind before I tackle all the problems and the busyness of the day, to be able to step back and see where God has been in my life. What am I grateful for? And then finally, what's my approach today? What's going to be required of me? How do I need to show up if I'm going to bring gladness to this day? Now, note, it's not saying that everything I'm going to do is glad, or that everything is about being glad. There's some things that I'm going to do on any given day, and you will too, that are anything but happy and joyful. But the point is, what do I need to do so I can bring blessing and gladness to that day in the lives of others and for this world? How do I get to be a blessing? So 3 questions. And by the way, I like to take not much time on these. I find I can spend a lot of time if I want to, but about 5 minutes. About the same time I say that it takes to drink a cup of coffee in the morning, I sit down with my journal and I walk through those things. And then as I wrap it up, there's one more verse, and it's the one that I use out of Isaiah when God and the heavenly hosts are saying, so who will we send? Who will go for us? And Isaiah's answer is, well, here am I, send me. I like to use that prayer. I suggest you try that, or something else that you find helpful too. It's a way of saying, okay, here I am. Here's what's unique about my day. Here's what I'm rejoicing in. Here's the things that I see where I need to step up to bring gladness to this world. All right, who will go for us? Here am I, send me. That's a great way to start the day. And that brings us to the second part, which is now the awareness and the consent. Now, once again, this is I use throughout the day, but this is using something familiar. I always like to start with something familiar and then build on that. And the most familiar prayer that we all know is the Lord's Prayer. And at the core of the Lord's Prayer is this phrase that says, your will be done on earth, even as it's in heaven. Your will would be done on earth, even as it's in heaven. That's the prayer. And this is a way of bringing that prayer about. The first one has to do with awareness, which is recognition. And the second has to do with consent, me saying yes, me yielding over, me surrendering my will for God's will. And so this is my response. Now, when it comes to awareness, it has to do with, so where do I see, how do I see the work and the will of God that's emerging around me? Where do I see patience? Where do I see creativity? Where do I see long suffering? Where do I see people working hard and being faithful to their work, the competence that people bring? When I begin to do that, I begin to see that the work of God is all around. And I really look for the things that are emerging around me, the things that I want to call out, the things that I want to celebrate, all the different ways that people and nature and the rhythms of the world are speaking to me. But then the second question is, and then where am I participating in this? Where am I giving my yes to what God is doing? Where am I aligning myself with the will of God on earth, even as it's in heaven? At the end of the day, where will I be able to say whose life was touched with love because of something I did? Who will know they're loved because of something I said or did? Who will be validated? Who will be encouraged? Where will the ball be pushed forward in something that matters in the area of justice? Where was mercy shown because of something I did? This is me saying yes. Now, it's throughout the day, but I will be honest, I try to do that a couple times a day particularly. I have some times that I set aside, used to set my watch to it so they would remind me just to ask those two questions. Where do I see God emerging? Where am I participating? And it was a way of doing that. But you figure out what you want to do and how you want to do that, because that's a good question as you go throughout the day, which brings us to the last one, which is the E. We've done ground and rejoice. We've done aware and consent, and now we're at E in this funny word called examine. It's a Latin word that has to do with kind of a devotional review, and it's within the grace of God, within the presence of the loving God. It's a way of reviewing my day, not as a report card, but as a way of sitting down and having God walk through my day with me. And as I walk through the significant events, I have three questions to end my day. And it's this. First question is, and where was grace revealed to me? And this causes me to think back on all the things of that day. And this is really where it's good to have a journal again. What are those things? And I just jot them down. It had to do with the conversation that day and something I saw in people, and the kindness, or just the joy of participating, or just the beauty of nature. Where did I see grace revealed to me? When were good things happening that I go, boy, this was helpful? Or even if it wasn't fun at the time, I recognize it as something that God is doing that challenged me, and I was called on something, or I was stretched in a way. So this covers a lot of territory, which then pushes it to the inside. Grace revealed to me often is the stuff I'm aware of through my senses. Now, what is grace? What has grace tried to reveal in me? What's going on in me? Where did I find myself lifted? Where did I find myself dejected? Where did I find myself enlivened? Where did I find myself dulled? What was going on in me? Where was I resentful today? Where did it trigger me? What was that telling me about myself? If this was a report card, boy, that's tough. I wouldn't want to do this because then it feels like I'm always failing. But when it becomes instructive, wow, that becomes exciting. And so I'm just jotting those things down, which then gets me to my third question. So how will grace be revealed through me? Now, this is setting me up for the next day. What are the things, with the help of God, that I am going to try to commit myself to so that grace can work better through me? Often I find myself talking about being more attentive, listening better, being more present, being more focused, being more relaxed. Whatever it is that you go at, how is grace, with the help of God, how is grace going to be revealed through me? And I just jot those things because that's a great way to start the next day, because this whole thing is a cycle. And if you miss a day, you miss a day, but it is a habit. It's a way of starting to become more and more aware of what God is doing so that I can respond better and better, so that faith isn't just something that happens to me from the outside, but it begins to well up from the inside, so that I can have a life that is indeed fruitful. It is fulfilling. It is grounded in the reality of God. I bring depth. I have a better sense of purpose. That's what all this is about. A simple tool. It takes about 5 minutes in the morning. My examine time, about 5 minutes in the evening. And then depending on how often I want to jump into that throughout the day, that check-in time around where am I aware and where am I consenting and saying yes to God. Again, each of those times is 3, 4, 5 minutes. This is not meant to occupy tons. It is meant to overlay over the top of the whole day so that the whole day becomes an exercise. The whole day is a way of experiencing grace day by day, moment by moment. All right. Hey, if this was helpful, please give it a thumbs up or a like or whatever is on the platform you're watching. If you've got a comment to make, love to hear it. What would be helpful? What would be more useful? That helps direct the next set of videos. And then also, if you want to subscribe, that way every time one of these comes out, you'll be ready for it. All of these are ways to try to build hope into us and to develop faith into us, to have lives that have meaning, that purpose. You go out and have a great day.